What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Friday, April 25th. We're going to give out plays on every MLB game on the slate and all 3 NBA playoff games. I'll give you my dog of the day and pick out my massive lock, my pick that regardless of price, I think has the highest chance of cashing today. We are 3-0 on our lock of the day. We are also 3-0 on our dog of the day. So running pretty hot here recently. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep seeing these videos every single day. And let me know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally answer every comment every single day. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and it pays to check back a couple of times per day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. Yesterday, guys, things are looking pretty good. Not a whole lot of negatives. We did have the over there on Cade Cunningham on his points. That one did not hit, but we had Dennis Schroeder over 9.5 points. That was an easy cash. Schroeder went nuts in that game. We had Chet Holmgren over 1.5 made threes. At time of recording, he has 4 made threes in the game. So very good stuff there. We've got the Angels at -140, and they're drawing very live right now, guys. We just need that bullpen to hold on for a half of an inning. They're up 4-3 there in the top of the ninth. So very live there on the Angels at -140. And our dog of the day came through for us as well. We had the Mariners at +140. They come through for us. It was a close game, a 4-3 win, but we will certainly take it. And our massive lock of the day, that was game 1 there on the Royals at -250, and that one came through as well. So looking like a very possible 5-1 day out there. So really happy with how things are going. Let's dive in and find some more value. And first up, guys, we're looking at the Philadelphia Phillies going on the road to take on the Chicago Cubs. The Phillies come into this game fresh off just getting swept. Yeah, swept there by the Mets. They lost all 3 games there in New York, and it wasn't a great time. Now, they lost a couple of one-run games, but really, guys, the Phillies just not looking as good as expected. They're hitting the ball in this one to Taijuan Walker. He came off a no decision on Saturday. Yeah, didn't look great. He's back for this one, though. He's 1-1 on the year, a 2.29 ERA. I mean, against Miami, I'm not going to be too upset. Against San Francisco, though, not a great time, guys. He went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits and 6 runs. 4 of them were earned and gave up a couple of home runs. Now, 4 innings of 1-hit, 1-run ball there against the Marlins in what was eventually 11-10 win. Sure, fine, okay, but I'm alarmed about this Phillies bullpen. They're second worst in the majors with an ERA of well over 5.5. Not a great look, and the offense obviously struggling, guys. They scored 3, 1, and 4 runs respectively in that series at the Mets, and nobody hitting the ball particularly well right now. I know their season-long numbers still look okay, but it is not looking great right now at the plate for the Phillies. So we'll see what they can do here against the Cubs, who are 16-10 on the season. They won both games there in that little 2-game mini-series against the Dodgers. Now, both of those were 1-run games, but hey, came out on top in both of them, so I'm sure they're very stoked about that. Definitely some positive vibes coming out of the Cubs. They're hitting the ball in this one to Colin Ray. He's got a save this year. He's at a 1.32 ERA. He's going to be making his 3rd start of the season. His first 2, not against the easiest opponents, guys, went up against the Dodgers and against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Gave up 1 earned run in each of those games. No home runs, struck out a grand total of 10 over those 2, and only walked 1. So very good stuff against elite competition. Now, do the Phillies qualify as elite competition right now? To me, it feels like they do not. They are swinging some pretty cold bats. So we'll see what happens there. Now, the bullpen situation for the Cubs, not a good one. A 5.17 bullpen ERA has them right down there with teams like the Phillies. So that's not great. The offense, on the other hand, absolutely cruising. They're still first in the majors in runs scored. They are second in slugging percentage, but first in batting average and on base percentage. We've seen guys like Kyle Tucker get off to a great start. Just in general, this team hitting the cover off the ball. So looking at the numbers here, we're not shocked to see the Cubs as favorites. The Phillies +112, the Cubs -135. We've got totals out there of 8 or 8.5. The Phillies are 4-8 on the road, 13-12 to the under. Chicago 8-3 at home, 16-8-2 to the over. That's an MLB best to the over, and I think the over is very live in this game. Both bullpens are terrible. Now, the over in the first 5 looks real sketch. Maybe take under in the first 5, over in the entire game. That's how bad these 2 bullpens have looked here. So definitely think both those plays are in a possibility. I also definitely think this is a good spot to side with the Chicago Cubs at home. They've been a very good home team. The Phillies are struggling right now. I don't even really trust Taijuan Walker. I trust him a little bit, but not a lot. So yeah, definitely leaning towards the Cubs at home in this one. Hopping in here with a quick reminder, guys, all of our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description and go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC picks. Major League Baseball off to a fantastic start to the season. Our expert over there at Stump the Spread has been killing it. Once you get over there to StumpTheSpread.com, you will be able to see our exclusive free picks that are only posted there. Free to use bet size calculators, our premium top confidence picks, which, like I was just saying, guys, might not always match what you see here in the video. You also need to sign up for our free email newsletter, which will get you free picks straight to your inbox every day and updates on our results. Just make sure to check your spam folder. Also, if you're a huge fan of what we do here every single day, you can sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Channel members are eligible for our members only giveaways. We'll be giving away a Stump the Spread hoodie to one random channel member each month. And as we get more channel members, we'll be doing more and more giveaways each and every month. Members also get early access to our videos and get their names up on screen in every video. Now, guys, let's hop back in and look at the second game on our slate. We're going to be looking at the Baltimore Orioles going on the road to take on the Detroit Tigers. The Orioles come in this game 10-14 on the year. They salvaged a win in that series there at the Nationals, but it didn't look great, guys, and they're having a bad start to the year. They're handing the ball in this one to Brandon Young. He has yet to figure out a result, but he's sporting a 6.75 ERA, so that doesn't exactly fill me or probably anyone else with confidence. This is only his second start. His first one, he got shelled there by the Cincinnati Reds. Now, the offense bailed him out. Eventually, we saw Baltimore win that game 9-5, but it was not really Brandon Young's fault. So we'll see what he can do, see if the bullpen can figure itself out. It's been terrible as well. The offense has been sputtering. They scored 2, 3, 0, and 2 runs over their last few games. That also includes getting blown out 24-2 by the Cincinnati Reds. So pretty embarrassing stuff. Nobody off to a great start. They're 19th in the majors in runs scored, 24th in on-base percentage. This is just not a very good offensive team right now. So we'll see what they can do in this one against the Tigers, who just won 2 out of 3 against the Padres. Pretty solid stuff there. They're 15-10 on the year. They're handing the ball to Casey Mize. He's 3-1, a 2.22 ERA. His last start, dominant stuff against the Royals. 7 innings, 4 hits, only a single earned run allowed. It was a solo home run, but still, a very good outing. We also noticed that, the Tigers are 3-1 in his start, so a lot of positives there for Mize. Going up against a Baltimore team that's swinging some cold bats probably doesn't feel too bad either. The bullpen for Detroit has been excellent. A 2.70 bullpen ERA has them at 5th in the majors, and the offense has been much better than we would have expected going into the season here. The Tigers definitely getting better than his lifetime averages from guys like Spencer Torkelson, Zach McKinstry hitting the ball really well. They scored 6-0, 6-3, and 3 runs over their last few games. So nothing off the charts, but not terrible, that's for sure. Now, looking at the numbers for this game, the Orioles are plus 105, the Tigers are minus 125. We've got a total of 8.5 out there. Baltimore, 5-8 on the road, 13-8-3 to the over. Detroit, 10-3 at home, a very good home team, 13-10-2 to the under. I'm not really interested in the total in this game, to be honest, guys, but I am interested in taking the Tigers here at minus 125. What we're seeing from Baltimore, really bad. They're going to have to turn around in a big way for me to trust it, and right now I don't trust it. I also don't trust Brandon Young, so give me the Tigers here to get the job done at home. Next on the docket, we're looking at the New York Mets going on the road to take on those Washington Nationals. The Mets come into this game playing pretty great. They've won their last 7 in a row. They're up to 18-7 on the year. They're hitting the ball in this one to Kodai Senga. He's 3-1 this year, a 0.79 ERA. So I'd say he's throwing the ball all right, guys. He has shut out his last 3 opponents. Bro has given up 2 earned runs over this entire season. Dominant stuff. We also noticed that the Mets are 3-0 over his last 3 starts. Not a lot of negatives to find for him right now, and no negatives to find for that Mets bullpen. A 2.35 bullpen ERA. Crazy stuff there. The offense also doing well, maybe not off the charts well, but definitely well. They've scored 4, 5, 5, 7, 3, and 5 runs over their last few games. Pete Alonso hitting the cover off the ball. Bro's probably not going to bat 341 over the course of the whole season, but right now he's killing it. This is a team that's 14th in the majors in runs scored and 10th in slugging percentage, and they're hitting the ball right now, no doubt about it. So they're about to take on a Washington Nationals team that's 11-14 here in the early goings. Now, they've had a bit of an easy schedule at times, but making things happen, winning 2 out of 3 against the Orioles doesn't look terrible. They're hitting the ball to Jake Irvin. He's 2-0 this season, a 3.68 ERA. Now, his last start was a pretty good one against the Rockies. Now, it was against the Rockies. He went 6 1/3 innings, gave up 3 hits and 2 earned runs, but both of those were solo home runs. He also struck out 9 in the game. So some positives, some negatives, but overall it was a 3-2 win out there for the Nationals, so I don't think they're too upset about that. The problem for this Nationals team is their horrendous bullpen, a 6.69 bullpen ERA. Kind of embarrassing stuff if I'm being honest, and while the offense has done some positive things, it's not off the charts good. I mean, they're 16th in the majors in runs scored, but they're 22nd in on-base percentage and 17th in slugging percentage, so yeah, not going to freak out too much. Abrams coming back for the Nationals is going to be a big deal. We've seen James Wood hit the ball well here in the early goings, but I'm not about to freak out about the Nationals. Now, looking at the numbers for this game, the Mets are minus 170, the Nationals are plus 145. We've got a total out there of 8.5 or all the way up to 9.5, which is kind of crazy to me. The Mets Mets 6-6 on the road, 17-8 to the under. That's an MLB best to the under. Washington 7-5 at home, 13-12 to the under. So there are a couple plays that make sense to me in this one. First up, I'll definitely go ahead and take the New York Mets. Until they lose a game, I don't have a single problem rolling with them, especially with Senga on the mound. Now, Jake Irvin is a valid opponent here, and that's why I think the under 9.5. I can't believe there's still 9.5s out there, guys. I would take under 8.5 in this game as well, but obviously, if we can get that whole extra run, we'll definitely grab that. And I really think this is a very, very good spot to be looking at the no-run first inning as well. So lots of solid possibilities on this one, guys, as we see a final there in that Angels-Pirates game. So it's officially a 5-1 day. So slam that like button, guys. Give me a like for going 5-1. That's pretty good. A free pick YouTube video, 5 wins, 1 loss. Not a lot to complain about there. So looking at our next game on the slate, guys, we're going to be looking at those Toronto Blue Jays going on the road in this one to take on the New York Yankees. Now, Toronto's gotten off to, I would say, at least a semi-interesting start to their season. Right now, they're only 12-13 on the year, and they've fallen off a cliff recently, losing their last 5 in a row, but things are looking good there for a minute. They're hitting the ball to Jose Barrios, hoping he can turn things around. He's 1-1 this year, a 5.02 ERA, so not his best stuff out there recently. Yeah, I mean, he's given up, 3 earned runs against Seattle his last time out, and the start before that gave up 7 hits and 4 earned runs to Baltimore. So, yeah, he's got 1, maybe 1.5 really good starts under his belt this season, but other than that, it's been a little bit rough out there for Jose Barrios. So, we'll see what he can do here, see if that bullpen can continue to be, I would say, slightly above average there for Toronto. The offense recently, guys, has deserted them. They scored a grand total of 2 runs over 3 games there at Houston. That's not going to work, guys. They're 25th in the majors in runs scored. They're 26th in slugging percentage. Just not a team that I respect very much at the plate. Now, they're taking on the Yankees, who come into this game 15-10 on the season. They just won 1 out of 3 there at Cleveland. They did win Game 3 of that series 5-1, so I'm sure that feels good. We'll see what they can do here with Carlos Carrasco on the mound, which kind of crazy to see the 38-year-old veteran 2-1 on the season, but a 6.53 ERA. He did have a very good start against the Royals in there, but other than that, he's given up at least 3 and usually 4 earned runs over some pretty abbreviated starts. So not super high on what we're going to see from Carrasco. That Yankees bullpen, though, has been excellent. 6th in the majors right now, a 3.10 bullpen ERA is not terrible. The offense, guys, has been a little bit all over the place. They've scored 5, 2, 4, 4, and 8 runs over their last few, but Aaron Judge, really the motor that's powering this offense. He's batting .415 with 7 home runs and 26 RBIs in the early goings. The Yankees are the 2nd highest scoring team in the majors, 5th out there in batting average, 1st in slugging percentage. So, yeah, there's some outlier numbers for them, but really, guys, they're just hitting the ball really well on a nightly basis. So, looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Blue Jays at +110, the Yankees at -130. We've got a total out there of 10, which, yeah, I could see that for sure. Toronto is 4-8 on the road, 15-9-1 to the under. The Yankees 8-4 at home, 12-11-2 to the over. I'm not really too interested in a total of 10 in this game, to be honest. Neither bullpen's quite bad enough to make me think we're going to see tons of late scoring in this game, but I will take the Yankees here as a very small lean. I'm not loving what I'm seeing from Jose Barrios. This game's not going in the pin comment because I don't know what we're going to see from Barrios. He's been very all over the place, and I don't think he's a bad pitcher. I think he's going to bounce back at some point. So give me the Yankees here, but only as a small lean. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Boston Red Sox going on the road here to take on the Cleveland Guardians. The Red Sox come into this game 14-13 on the year, fresh off of losing that last game there against the Mariners. Thank you, Mariners. We'll cash that dog of the day right there. The Red Sox are handing the ball to Tanner Houck in this game. He's 0-2, a 7.66 ERA. Now, his last start, he was serviceable, but it was against the White Sox. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs against the White Sox. Really nothing to write home about. We did see Boston manage to lose that game 8-4, and they're actually only 1-4 over his 5 starts this season. So not looking great with him on the mound. The bullpen situation for Boston this season also not looking amazing. In the bottom half of the league right now, a 4.28 bullpen ERA. This team's supposed to be so amazing at the plate. They're 7th in the majors in runs scored. They scored 3, 6, 8, 4, and 4 runs over their last few games, and that includes games against the White Sox. So I'm not super high on this offense either as they go on the road to take on the Guardians, who are 14-10 on the year. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Yankees after sweeping the Pirates. So things are looking up there in Cleveland. They're going to be handing the ball in this one to Ben Lively. He's 1-2 this year, a 3.68 ERA, so nothing wrong with that. He shut out the Pirates the last time out, guys. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, no runs allowed. He's had some very good outings, but also some mediocre ones, so we'll see what we get out of in this one. He hasn't faced a ton of super tough opponents, so things seem a little bit shaky for him. Now that Guardians bullpen looking very good once again, top 8 in the majors with a 3.38 bullpen ERA. The offense has been a bit of a problem. They're sitting at 20th in the majors in runs scored, 20th also in slugging percentage. Now we've seen guys like Stephen Kwan get off to a good start. Kyle Manzardo was swinging a very hot bat there for a minute, but seems like he's cooled off at least a bit. Looking at the numbers for this game, it's basically a coin flip. The Red Sox are minus 110. The Guardians are minus 108. We've got a total of 9 out there. Boston 6-7 on the road, 14-11-2 to the under. Cleveland comes into this game 7-2 at home, 11-11-2 to the over/under. I think this is a very reasonable spot to be on Cleveland in this game. They've got the better bullpen. They've got the better starter on the mound in this game, given what we've seen so far this season. I don't think either offense has particularly distinguished themselves recently, so definitely giving the Guardians here as a significantly strong lean, to be honest. I think they're in a great shape playing at home. We really want to be backing home teams right now. It seems like a good spot. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Los Angeles Angels going on the road to take on the Minnesota Twins. The Angels and the Pirates just ended. The Angels got the win for us, so thank you, Angels, for coming through on that one. They're going to be handing the ball in this game to Kyle Hendricks, hoping he can get them over 500. They're at 500 now. They want to get over 500. Hendricks is 0-2 this year, a 4.50 ERA. He's been serviceable, but not great. Had a very good start there against Tampa Bay, but struggled a little bit his last time out against San Francisco. 5 innings, 4 hits, and 3 earned runs, though, is not a bad start for this 35-year-old right-hander. So we'll see what Hendricks does in this one. We'll also see what we get out of that Angels bullpen, which has been a little bit sketchy this year, guys. A 5.35 bullpen ERA has them 3rd worst in the majors. The offense obviously coming through for us a little bit out there in Game 3 of that series against the Pirates, but overall this season, when Mike Trout's not hitting a bunch of home runs, he's not hitting the broadside of a barn. They're 27th in the majors in batting average and 23rd in runs scored. So not exactly thrilled about the Angels right now, except for the fact they just cashed that ticket for us. They're taking on the Twins, who just won 2 out of 3 against the White Sox, but getting shut out in Game 3 against the White Sox, a little bit embarrassing. They're going to be handing the ball in this one to Simeon Woods-Richardson, who's 1-2 this year, a 4.74 ERA. Now, his last start was at Atlanta. He gave up 7 hits and 3 earned runs, including a home run, over 4 1/3 innings of work. And this is not somebody you can trust to go deep into games. So definitely got to take a look at that Twins bullpen, which has been okay. They're middle of the road this season, a 3.59 bullpen ERA. While not terrible, is also not amazing. The offense for the Twins, they scored a 0-6, 4, 2, and 3 runs over their last few games. This is not a team that's hitting the ball, guys. They're 26 in the majors in runs scored. They are 26 in the majors in team batting average. Flat out, not a good offense at the moment. So looking at the numbers here, the Angels are plus 170. The Twins are minus 190. We've got a total showing out there of 8 or 8.5. The Angels 7-8 on the road, a 500 over/under team. Minnesota 6-6 at home, 13-9-3 to the under. This spot stinks. I don't like this spot at all. I would maybe even think about backing the Angels at plus 170 since they're getting so little respect here, but I don't know, guys. Simeon Woods-Richardson, not a good starter. The Twins bullpen, not amazing, but that Angels bullpen is so bad. This is probably a stay away spot for me with a slight lean there towards the Angels. Next up, we're looking at the Houston Astros. They're going on the road in this one to take on the Kansas City Royals. The Astros, 13-11 on the year, finally got something pointed in the right direction. They swept the Toronto Blue Jays and giving up only 2 runs in that entire series. They're handing the ball in this one to Hayden Wesneski. He's 1-1 this year, a 3.91 ERA. Now, he's fresh off of a serviceable, maybe not dominant, but good start against a hard-hitting Padres team. He went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, only 2 earned runs. Walked 1 and struck out 4. A little bit of a drop-off from a 10 strikeout game there against the Angels, but he's been throwing the ball relatively well. I'm not expecting miracles from him, but he's been decent. Now, that Astros bullpen's been way better than I would have thought this year. A 2.62 bullpen ERA. Excellent stuff. That's 4th best in the majors. The problem for this team this season has been their lack of offense. Now, they're up to 21st in the majors in runs scored. They put up 3, 5, and 7 runs respectively there against the Blue Jays. And, this team has won 5 out of their last 6. That only loss was a 3-2 loss in Game 3 against the Padres. So I'm relatively high on what we're seeing from the Astros right now. They're taking on a Royals team that's also a little bit hot. They just won 3 in a row there against the Rockies, and they won their last game of that series against the Tigers to run the streak to 4 in a row. They cashed us our big, massive lock of the day, so we'll definitely take that. Much appreciated there, Royals. They're going to be hitting the ball to Seth Lugo in this game. He's 1-3 on the season, a 3.90 ERA. His last start, not amazing against Detroit. 6 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, and giving up a home run. None of that's the end of the world, but also none of that is really parade-worthy. So we'll see what he does in this one. Overall, he's had a decent season. He needs some run support, though, and maybe a little bit of backup from the bullpen, which has been decent for the Royals recently, a 3.49 bullpen ERA. definitely a number headed in the right direction for the Royals. They just got to find some offense. And while that has been helped here by Bobby Witt Jr.'s 16-game hitting streak, they scored 6, 7, 4, and 4 runs over their last few games. They're currently sitting at 29th in the majors there in runs scored, in 29th in the majors in batting average, though. So just a little bit of room there for improvement. Now, the numbers for this game, the Astros are minus 125. The Royals are plus 105. We've got a total out there of 8. Houston, 4-5 on the road, 14, 8-2 to the under. Kansas City, 9-4 at home. Once again, looking like a very good home team. They are 16, 9-1 to the under. So just by the trends here, guys, you might want to look at this game as a under or no run first inning spot. I'm not as interested in those. I might be looking here at a very, very sneaky dog of the day here on the Kansas City Royals, who are technically a slight underdog despite having Seth Lugo on the mound. Now, I'm not super sold on Hayden Wesneski. I'm not super sold on the Astros here. The Royals bullpen's looking much better. Both offenses being so challenged, seems like we're likely to play a very low-scoring, very close game. And when you got an underdog, that helps in those close games. Next up, we're headed to the NL Central. We're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers going on the road to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. The Brewers just lost 3 out of 4 there at the San Francisco Giants, so they're probably a little bit tilted by that. Yelich, kind of costly air out there in the outfield, so we'll see what they can do in this one, handing the ball to Chad Patrick. He comes in this game 1-1, a 2.11 ERA. Bro's been throwing the ball pretty well. Now, he did give up 7 hits against the Athletics, but 7 hits over 6 innings, only 2 earned runs. Doesn't look bad. He also struck out 7 and walked 0. So giving Bro a lot of credit. He hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any of his 5 starts this season, and he's faced Arizona and the Yankees in there as well. So pretty solid stuff there from Patrick. Expecting more solid stuff from him in this one. Now, we are perturbed by that Milwaukee bullpen. A 5.24 bullpen ERA is a problem. No doubt about that. We're also a little bit worried about the offense, but not terrified. I mean, 5, 2, 11, and 2 runs in their series against the Giants isn't horrible. Bryce Terang off to a good start. Christian Yelich off to a pretty good start. As a team, they're 5th in the majors in runs scored and 12th out there in batting average. So I think this team definitely capable of putting up some numbers. We'll see what they can do here against the Cardinals, who are 10-15 on the year. They're hitting a bit of a rough patch. They got swept in a 4-game series there at the Mets, and then they lost 2 out of 3 at the Braves. They're back home now, but we'll see how much that actually ends up helping as they hand the ball to Matthew Liberatore, who is 1-2 on the season, a 3.60 ERA. Now, his last couple of starts have looked excellent. He gave up only 2 earned runs over 6 2/3 against the Mets. Nothing wrong with that. Against the Phillies in his start before that was dominant. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts. So pretty good stuff. Will he be able to have similar success in this matchup against the Brewers? We'll have to wait and see. Now, that Cardinals bullpen was looking excellent in the early goings. That has fallen off very, very aggressively, guys. They are, 6th worst now in the majors, a 5.11 bullpen ERA. And this, for a minute, their MLB leading offense has also hit the bricks, guys. They are all the way down to 8th in the majors in runs scored. They've scored 1, 10, 6, 4, 0, 4, and 1 run over their last few games. It hasn't been great. Lars Nootbaar hitting the ball well in the early goings. Brendan Donovan doing some positive things, but not an offense that I'm very excited about. So looking at the numbers, I'm a little bit shocked to see the Brewers are plus 110. The Cardinals are minus 130. We've got a total of 8 out there. Milwaukee's only 4-9 on the road. They're 14, 10, and 2 to the under. St. Louis 8-4 at home, 14, 10, and 1 to the over. I'm not interested in the total in this game, guys, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't very interested in taking the Milwaukee Brewers at plus 110. A great chance to be our dog of the day. Now, I know it's not a huge underdog, but it's not always going to be a big plus 140 underdog, guys. I think the Brewers, especially with Patrick on the mound, are in a very good spot here against the Cardinals team that I really don't trust. Now, I do worry about the Brewers bullpen, don't get me wrong, but I still think they've got a very good chance to win this game. Rolling right along here, guys, we're looking at the Cincinnati Reds going on the road to take on the Colorado Rockies. The Reds come into this game fresh off of a win there against the Marlins, but they lost 2 out of 3 in that series. They're handing the ball to Andrew Abbott, who's been nearly unhittable this year, 2-0, a 1.64 ERA. He dominated Pittsburgh and dominated Baltimore. He's given up a total of 2 earned runs and struck out a total of 16 over 11 innings of work. So a lot of positives there. Also, the Reds are 2-0 in his starts. The Reds' bullpen on the season, guys, hasn't been top tier necessarily, but pretty good. A 3.46 bullpen ERA. Super playable. The offense, their numbers are still skewed by that 24-run game they put up against Baltimore, but we've seen good stuff from guys like Gavin Lux. Ellie De La Cruz has done some positive things. They're currently 13th in the majors in batting average, so not a disaster. We'll see what they do here on the road against the Rockies, a team that is an unmitigated disaster, given the White Sox are run for their money as potentially the worst team in baseball. The Rockies 4-20 on the year. They've lost the last 3 in a row, getting swept there by the Royals. They're hitting the ball to Kyle Freeland. He's 0-4 this season, a 4.85 ERA. His last start, he only lasted 2 innings there against Washington. Start for that, he gave up 5 runs against the Padres, gave up 5 runs against the Brewers. You guys kind of see how this is going. Bro is not good. Not very good. Turns out not great right now. Not having a very good time. So we'll see what he can do out there. See what the Rockies bullpen can do. They're obviously going to be one of the, not worst, but not great. ERA right there around 4 coming out of the pen doesn't help. And the offense has been atrocious. Tied for 29th in the majors with only 71 runs scored this season. They're 28th in batting average, batting .214 as a team. And it just kind of goes on like that. A very, very bad team overall. So I'm pretty shocked to see the Reds at only -140 in this game. The Rockies are +120. We've got a total out there of 9. Cincinnati's 6-7 on the road. Not even a terrible road team. They're a 500 over/under team. Colorado 3-6 at home. 15-8-1 to the under. So a very big under team. I'm not very interested in under 9 in this game, though. I think this is a great spot to take the Cincinnati Reds. And -140, usually now what we end up with as our lock of the day. So this could end up just being a regular play, but I definitely like the Reds here at -140 a lot, especially with Andrew Abbott on the mound. Next up, in a very interesting pitching matchup, we've got the Atlanta Braves going on the road to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Braves come into this game 10-14 on the season, but they're turning things on recently, winning 5 out of their last 6. They're hitting the ball to Chris Sale, who they need to turn things around. And as a Chris Sale fantasy owner, I also need him to turn things around. He's 0-2 this year, a 6.17 ERA. His last start did show us a little bit of hope. He went 4 1/3 innings, gave up only 2 earned runs there against the Twins. Now, he also gave up 6 hits and a home run, and he's given up 1 home run in each of his last 4 starts. So something to keep in mind for your home run prop bettors, but not loving what we're seeing from Sale. The Atlanta bullpen, not loving that either, a 4.43 bullpen ERA. I think they can do better. Now, the offense is turning things on a little bit. 4, 4, 7, 6, 4, and 6 runs over this little streak that they've got going on. Ozuna's hitting the ball better. Sean Murphy's hitting the ball better. We see Eli White hitting a very clutch 3-run home run. So some positive signs are developing, but I don't think this team is completely out of the woods yet. They're taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are 14-10 on the season. They're currently playing right now in the top of the 9th inning in Arizona. They're taking on Tampa Bay, and yeah, we'll see how late that game goes, but looks a little sketchy right now. The Diamondbacks could definitely end up losing that game, and that would mean they dropped 2 out of 3 in that series. They're hitting the ball to Zach Gallen, who's had some very high highs and some very low lows this season. He's 1-3, a 5.60 ERA. He just got shelled by the Cubs his last time out, but that was after a good start against Milwaukee. So if Bro's going to alternate good and bad starts, then he should be in for a good one. We'll see if that actually happens here, though. Now, the bullpen situation for the Diamondbacks is not enviable. A 4.21 bullpen ERA, not good. But this offense, guys, they can put up some runs. We see Corbin Carroll with 9 home runs and batting .327 on the year. Very impressive stuff. They're 3rd in the majors in runs scored, top 10 in batting average, 3rd in slugging percentage, and also 3rd in on-base percentage, getting on base at a .340 clip. So this team can hit it. The question is, what's going to go on in this game with the starters? Atlanta's -120 with Sale on the mound. The Diamondbacks are +100. We've got a total of 8.5 out there. Atlanta's only 2-11 on the road. They're a slight over team. Arizona's 7-5 at home. They're a 500 over/under team. This game, guys, I don't have a whole lot of interest in, to be honest. Very little known stuff about which way this thing's going to go. I mean, I don't trust either pitcher right now, so given these numbers, I'm going to side just slightly with the Diamondbacks here at home since, they're a much better home team, and you want to be siding towards home teams here in the early goings, or at least that's what it looks like. So give me the Diamondbacks, but not a huge lean. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Miami Marlins going on the road to take on the Seattle Mariners. The Marlins come into this game not exactly having a great time this year. They're 11-13, but not as bad as they've been in seasons past. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Reds. They're hitting the ball here to Cal Quantrill, who's 1-2 this year, an 8.31 ERA. He's gotten shelled his last 2 outings, guys, giving up 7 hits over 5 innings against Washington and then getting obliterated by the Phillies. Over 3 1/3 innings, he gave up 7 earned runs on 8 hits. So not somebody that's thrown the ball well. The Marlins bullpen, not as bad as I would have expected, but a 4.33 bullpen ERA is not good. Now, the offense has done some positive things lately. 2, 4, 6, 7, and 10 runs over their last few. We've seen guys like Kyle Stowers off to a good start, but they're still only 13th in the majors in runs scored and 18th in slugging percentage, so maybe not time to alert the press. They're going up against the Seattle Mariners, who have won 4 out of their last 5. They're up to 14-11 on the year. They're handing the ball to young Logan Gilbert, who's obviously been one of the best starters in Major League Baseball for quite a bit now. He's 1-1 this year, a 2.63 ERA. He has not given up more than 2 earned runs in any of his last 3 starts. Had to pitch out a little bit of a trouble there against Toronto, but overall this year has really only had 1 mediocre start, and he struck out 10 in that one against Detroit. So we're going to cut the kid some slack. He's been very, very good. Now, the bullpen situation for Seattle is not quite as great as I would have expected, but a 3.62 bullpen ERA, not horrendous, I suppose. The offense this year, so drastically improved from a season ago. They're 12th in the majors in runs scored, 14th in slugging percentage, and 9th in the major leagues in on-base percentage. This team can actually score some runs, and that's part of the big reason here they are massive favorites at minus 265. Now, guys, I'll be honest, I don't trust this one quite enough to be my lock of the day. I would actually still lean a little bit there towards my lock of the day, possibly being the no-run first inning there in the Mets-Nationals game, but I would say you could, if you're looking for a very sure spot, think about backing the Mariners. Now, I'm not 1,000,000% sold on it, though. So we'll see what they do. They are going from Boston to Miami, or Boston to Seattle for this one. So not a super enviable travel spot. So in general, probably a game I'm just going to stay away from. Next up, guys, are the Tampa Bay Rays going on the road to take on the San Diego Padres. The Rays come into this game fresh off of what I would say is going to be a very exciting end at minimum to their game there against Arizona. It's 4-4 in the top of the ninth with 2 outs and runners on second and third. So we'll see how that ends. Not an amazing year here for the Tampa Bay Rays right out of the gates, but Shane Baz doing his thing, 2-0, a 3.22 ERA. Now, his last start, he did struggle against the Yankees, but it's the Yankees, so we'll cut little bro some slack. He had a great outing against Boston, great stuff against the Angels, and shut out the Pirates. So right now, this young 25-year-old starter is doing what he's supposed to do. So exciting stuff there. The bullpen for this Tampa Bay team, though, not exactly one of my favorites, but not a disaster. A 3.50 bullpen ERA is serviceable. The offense has been a bit all over the place. We've seen Arenado do some positive things. They're 18th in the majors in runs scored, 6th in batting average, and 11th in both slugging and on base percentage. So they can hit it a little bit. They've scored they just got out of the inning. So yeah, it's 4 runs currently in their current game. Looks like they're maybe going to be destined for extras. 7, 1, and 0 runs over their last few. So not swinging the hottest bats as they take on the Padres in this one, who just lost 2 out of 3 against the Tigers. They're still 17-8 on the season, so let's not freak out too much. Michael King's getting the start. He's 3-0 this year, a 2.57 ERA. He has been very good, guys. He gave up only 2 earned runs over 5 2/3 against the against the Astros, and that's the first start out of his 5 starts that he's made this season that we haven't seen the Padres get the win. So loving what we're seeing from Michael King. Obviously, the Padres bullpen's been transcendently good, a 1.76 bullpen ERA. Incredible. The offense has fallen off recently, though. It's been a bit weird. They've scored 0, 2, 4, 3, and 2 runs over their last few games. Obviously, they've had some injuries and stuff, but Tatis fallen off a little bit here, maybe. I mean, he's batting .333 with 8 home runs and 17 RBI, so I'm not saying Bro's having a bad time out there, just not quite as dominant as in the early going. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Rays are plus 130, the Padres are minus 150. We've got totals out there of 7 or 6.5. Tampa Bay only 1-4 on the road, 12, 10, and 2 to the under. San Diego 12-1 at home, 14, 10, and 1 to the under. I think this is a very reasonable spot here to back the Padres, even though it's minus 150 against Baz on the mound. Tampa Bay currently playing in Arizona. Now they're going to have to fly to San Diego. So not a terrible flight, but still a travel spot. So keep an eye on that. Is this one going in the pinned comment? I would say it's got a chance, but it's an outside chance. Now, guys, before we run out of time here, we're going to hop over and look at our 3 NBA playoff games we've got on the slate. First up, we're looking at Boston going on the road to take on the Orlando Magic. Now, we saw Boston get the win there in Game 2 despite Jason Tatum not playing. Pretty impressive stuff out there from Jaylen Brown putting up 36 points. Everybody wants to make fun of that left hand, but bro is doing some kind of magical things out there, even one-handed. We saw very good stuff just in general. The Celtics shot 32% from 3, only allowed the Magic to shoot 24% from 3. And despite Paolo putting up big numbers and Franz Wagner putting up big numbers, they limited everyone else. And yeah, basically the entire Celtics starting lineup looked very, very good out there. So positive stuff there. No major injury news in this one, except for a couple guys there on the Celtics. We see Holiday questionable and Tatum doubtful for this game. So sounds like neither one of them are going to play here in Game 3, which gives Orlando no doubt their best chance to steal a game in this series. And that's why the Magic are plus 4.5 in this game. We've got a total of 197.5. Boston 20-20-1 against spread on the road, 21-40-1 against spread after a win, and 46-38 to the under. Orlando 22-19-1 against spread at home. basically a 500 against spread team after a loss, and they are 49-36 to the under. So yeah, it seems like an under spot to me, guys. I'll take under 197.5. I think that's reasonable. In terms of a side, if we like the under here, it makes sense that we would like the underdog. Give me the Orlando Magic getting 5.5 points. But those are pretty small leans, guys. I'm much more interested in the player props for this game. And first up, I like Anthony Black here over 7.5 points. He had 11 in game 2. He's a role player playing at home. The role players tend to play a little bit better on their home court than they do on the road. So I think this is an excellent spot to take Anthony Black here to get at least 8 points in this game. Not a very big ask. On the Boston side, I like Porzingis here over 7.5 rebounds. He had 10 boards in game 2. The Celtics need rebounding here. They don't have Tatum's rebounding there at all, and could be missing Drew Holiday, somebody who will mix it up a little bit. So yeah, definitely think Porzingis to get to 8 boards is super duper live. On the Celtics side, once again, I like Jaylen Brown over 1.5 made threes. No Tatum out there. He went 5 of 7 from 3 in game 2. I don't see any reason he doesn't put up some pretty solid numbers there from long range in this one. And last but not least, I like Banchero here over 1.5 made threes as well. He had 4 made threes in game 1, 2 made threes in game 2. Now he gets to shoot at home rims. I think there's an excellent shot that he knocks down a couple threes in this game. And moving on to our next NBA game on the slate, guys, we're looking at the Indiana Pacers going on the road to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. The Pacers got the win there in game 2, 123-115. A bit of a closer game, but they still come out on top despite Dame coming back and playing there for the Milwaukee Bucks. And Dame played, but he didn't play great. Only 14 points, 7 assists, 2 of 8 from 3. Not the Dame Lillard that we've seen in years past. Now, in terms of any sort of injury news here for these two teams, we're seeing, the Bucks come into this game looking fully healthy, but Dame's going to play once again. The Pacers injury report also looking very, very clean. So really we can just dive into what happened in the last game. And it was just a question. I mean, the Pacers, they play with plenty of pace and they played really well. They made 44% of their threes, 100% of their free throws. They went 19 of 19 from the free throw line, and Milwaukee went 13 of 19 from the free throw line. And kind of there's your difference. Like, that's basically it. So we'll see what happens in this one, guys. Milwaukee is in a do-or-die situation. They're getting a ton of respect from the odds makers. They are 5.5-point favorites. We got a total of 230.5. Indiana, 19-22 on the road against the spread. They are 20-30-1 against spread after a win. They're 44-38-2 to the over. Milwaukee, 22-18-1 against spread at home. 16-18-1 against spread after a loss. 44-41 to the over. Despite those small trends towards the over, guys, I would lean more towards a slight under in this game potentially. I just think we're maybe in for a bad Pacers game, and the odds makers certainly think so, but no big play there on the under. If you're asking for a side in this one, it doesn't feel great, but I'll take the Milwaukee Bucks at -5.5. That just seems like the way the series is pointed. I think we're going to see at least Milwaukee get one win here, no matter what has to happen. So yeah, go ahead and give me the Bucks here at -5.5. But we've got some player props in this one that I definitely like. And first up, Giannis over 32.5 points. He's been unstoppable this season. It's a must-win game. He's been unstoppable in this series. He scored 34 points there in game 2. I don't see Bro slowing down anytime soon. I do worry about his free throw numbers, but he made 60% of them yesterday. So yeah, or not yesterday, in game 2. So we'll take that on the Bucks side still. I like Bobby Portis here over 13.5 points. Once again, guys, we got a role player, kind of a glorified role player here at home. He put up 28 points in game 2. He's not going to be slowing down in this one. Now, do I expect him necessarily to go 6 of 11 from 3? No. Do I need him to go 6 of 11 from 3 for us to get him to 14 points? I don't think that's necessary. So definitely like the over here on Bobby Portis. I like the over on Pascal Siakam's rebounds as well. Over 7.5 boards. He had 11 boards in game 2. There aren't really a ton of great rebounders for Indiana, so I expect Siakam to get his share of boards in this one. Getting to 8 seems reasonable. On the Pacer side here, once again, I like Halliburton under 10.5 assists. He had 12 in a massive game 2. I'm expecting a drop-off here on the road. Now, it doesn't have to be as specifically a Halliburton drop-off. I'm just expecting the Pacers shot makers to have a little bit more trouble, and that is all going to lead to Halliburton not really racking up the assists too much. Last but not least here on this Friday NBA slate, we are looking at the Los Angeles Lakers going on the road in this one to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Lakers came away with the 94-85 bounce-back win after not looking so hot there in Game 1. So I'm sure they're feeling pretty good about themselves. The Lakers come into this game, I would say, looking completely healthy, so that's a big bonus. And the Timberwolves as well looking completely healthy. So we can just dive into what happened in Game 2. And really, guys, we saw big games from Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, and nobody else on the Timberwolves showed up. On the Lakers side, we saw LeBron put up 21 points. Luka going nuts for 31. He also had 9 assists in the game, and props to him for pointing that out to the dumb reporters. Overall, the Lakers shot only 20% from three, still got the win, thanks in large part to the Timberwolves shooting only 20% from three themselves. So liking what we saw from the Lakers there in game two. Obviously, a lot of positives for them coming into this one. Now, looking at the numbers for this game, now they've got to go into Minnesota. The Timberwolves are actually 3-point favorites. We've got a total out there of 205.5. The Lakers, 18-21-2 against spread on the road, 28-21-1 against spread after a win. They're 43-41 to the under. Minnesota, 17-23-1 against spread at home, a 500 against the spread team after a loss, and a slight over team. In terms of the side here, guys, give me the Lakers getting 3. I don't know. I feel like they got a chance to steal this game despite the Timberwolves going home and shooting at the home rims. Now, it's not a big lean, guys. I'm going to be honest, but I do lean here just slightly towards the Lakers getting 3 points. They've got Luka Doncic, but this isn't going to be my bigger play on this game. We also have a total here of 205.5. I would lean just a bit here towards the over. I think we'll see more offense in this game. Neither team's going to shoot as poorly as they shot in game 2. Now onto the player props, which is where I really see the value on this one. And first up, I think LeBron might not have a great time. I'll take him under 22.5 points here on the road. He only had 21 in game 2 and played well in the Lakers. Only had 19 in game 1. Neither game did he play terrible, and in neither game did he get to 23 total points. So I think an under on LeBron's points is very much in order here. I also like on the Timberwolves side, DiVincenzo, over 9.5 points. Bro's going to step it up and knock down his shots here at home. I'm expecting a big, or at least big, adjacent game from him. He only played 16 minutes in game 2. They need him to be a big-time shot maker, and he has shown over the course of his career he's fully capable of that. And last but not least here, I'll take Julius Randle over 1.5 made threes. He made 4 of them in game 1 and 2 in game 2. I don't think we see him stop shooting threes out there to knock down a couple. Seems extremely live. He's playing at home in this one. I think we see him knock down a couple of threes. That's all the games we have for today, guys. A very big, long banger video. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Let's hope we can keep things rolling here with our dog of the day and our big, massive, crazy lock of the day, which you will find down in the pinned comment. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description, getting over to stumpthespread.com, getting on that free email list, and we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.